So today on Alabama Unfiltered, we have, well, who do we have?
We have a family that's joining us from Cyprus.
We're literally debating that it's bad that people get to say what they think.
Can you imagine?
They're over there receiving treatment for long COVID.
Which is actually a thing. And we have Landen Williams on and his mom, Jill. They're going to talk about his story, kind of the year and a half of misery he went through and what they're doing in Cyprus now, getting treatment. And there's hope for you. And I think he does a really good job of talking to us, telling us how you too can get help, because their story's kind of...
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring. So y'all gather around. Anybody who's had COVID, maybe you've had the vaccine and you're thinking you're alone. You're not. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss this show.
So today, I'm like so thankful that y'all are here. We have Jill Williams and her son, Landen Williams. And Landen has been struggling with what they had no idea was for probably a year and a half, 2 years now. Turned out to be long COVID, which they're just now starting to discover and actually call it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to find a doctor that will think outside of that box, and many weren't willing to, but y'all actually found one that was, and that's how you got to Cyprus. So you leave the cardiologist, they're like, dude, you just need to go take a nap and chill out. And you're like, no, I'm dying. And I'm sure that's what you felt like.
Yeah, so there's a forum called Reddit, Reddit. It's also an app on the App Store and Google Play. But anyway, so I got on Reddit, and there's a forum of COVID long haulers, and there's like 45,000 people on there. So one day I was just really discouraged, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try to find some other people who are going through what I'm going through. So I got on Reddit. And it was by the grace of God, because there's so many posts on there. The first one that popped up was Help Apheresis. And it talked about Dr. Beata Yeager over in Mulheim, Germany, and how she's doing this treatment to basically filter the plasma and get these micro clots removed from the body. So that's when I ran to my mom. I said, Mom, you got to hear this, because they actually had Marcus clots on there. And he... actually received the treatment and got 100% better, almost. So it was very encouraging. So I ran to my mom and showed her the post.
So, yes, and so then we took it to Dr. Daughtry, and he said, this makes perfect sense. He even tried to call Germany, but with the language barrier, we weren't able to get through to them.
Yeah, and this was after the fact that I had found about Help Apheresis on Reddit and showed it to my mom, and she put me, on the list. That was October of 2021. So she figured that, the waiting list was 9 to 10 months. So she put me on it just for the heck of it. And she thought, well, surely he'll be better by then.
So I was thinking, of course he would be better by then. We'll just put him on the list just so we can, just in case.
What are they doing in Cyprus? What is the process you're undergoing in Cyprus?
Okay. Yeah, so it's called Help Apheresis.
It's heparin, extracorporeal LDL precipitation, and it's 5 filters. It's a blood washing. So they take the blood out and they filter it through all of it. They separate the plasma, and then they put it back, the clean blood back in. So it takes about 4 hours.
Yeah, it takes about 4 hours. So they start you off slow. So my first treatment, they only did about 2 liters of my blood or of my plasma, and then the second treatment about 2 liters, and then the third, fourth, and fifth one, I think it was like 3.5, almost 4. And then yesterday was my last treatment. It was my 5th treatment. They were able to do 3.9, and that determines on your blood flow, how hydrated you are, how tired you are, and so it was. I'm actually really glad I was able to get the last treatment yesterday, so I'd have time to recover to fly back. But my filters, when we first started, look absolutely horrible. I mean, the microclotting, you can actually see the microclotting at the bottom of the plasma filter. The head nurse pointed it out to us. It's a combination of microclotting, fibrinogen, cytokines, and some other stuff. But cytokines, on my 5th treatment, at the very end, my filter, but 2 of my filters actually jammed. And so I was trying not to have a panic attack. I was just looking at my mom and said, "Hey, Mom, can you hold my hand?" But
Aw.
I was trying. But basically, she said that that's actually a good sign because two of the filters had pulled out cytokines, and basically that's why I was having so much inflammation in my body, costochondritis, sternum popping, all these other symptoms that I have that I won't go into. But so that was actually encouraging. So
Wait, do y'all have, I'm kind of weird, but do y'all have pictures of that? I'd be so interested to see. Okay, we'll
yeah,
have
so
to
I have a
connect because I want
filter.
to see those.
Yeah, so we have pictures of all the filters, and you can actually see. We can send them to you, and I'll tell you what to look for. But you can see on my sixth one, which was yesterday, it looks a lot better.
And the reason he said, it was a little scary is because you're taking blood out of your arm, and then they're putting it back in. So, they're draining your blood, and then the machine has a little issue. But they're very calm there. They know what they do. It's controlled. They don't take too much out. It's a very slow process. Very slow. So it's not like there's anything they can't take too much out and not get it back in. You always get your blood back. So it's just a little unnerving as all of this. And it's very exhausting as someone, it's almost like a dialysis, and he'll be like, this is his second day. Oh no, this is his first day after treatment. The third day after treatment, we don't know why, but it's his hardest day. So he's down for 3 to 4 days, and that's why we needed to do it Monday so he would feel well enough to fly back on Saturday.
And really quick, Pretoria actually just recently wrote an article about how the third day is the hardest because something to do with the oxygen is now getting to certain places it hadn't been in a while. And for some reason, that makes your body crash because your body's not used to it. So we're optimistic. We're excited. We've been here for 6 weeks. It's actually gone by faster than expected, but we are so ready to get home. We miss our family. We're homesick, and
we love the people here and the clinic. They met all our expectations. They were just wonderful people. We are really going to miss them, and we hope to get this treatment in the United States. Russia, China, Cyprus, Switzerland, and Germany now have this Help Apheresis machine. It's made by B. Braun. From what we understand, B. Braun lost their certification in 2009. They didn't recertify. And so if we could get someone to recertify, if B. Braun would do that, or another medical company could make a machine like this. It's the HELP machine was used in Mulheim, Germany for 30 years for cardiac patients, for plaque and cholesterol. It cleans and filters all of that out. So anyone with heart disease, so Vieta Yeager used it. And what happened when they realized that there was, that the COVID was not a lung disease, but it's a vascular disease, and it affects the endothelial, the lining of the vascular system. And these microclots go everywhere. So when Dr. Vaughn took an image of Landen's lungs, he said, this is just a picture into what your whole body looks like. And it was literally white, and we could show you before and after. And we're going to have more tests run when we get back, once to see if there's a difference. But it looked like a white spider web. And he said, I will say my shortness of breath, even now, is tremendously better. And that was one of my major symptoms. And Silka, the head nurse, she said, Landen, I'm telling you, when you go back and get your x-ray, there's going to be, it might be completely normal. And so that was really, really encouraging.
So let me ask this. So where do y'all think you are in the process? Are we just hoping that it's done? Are you over the hump, do you think? Will it come back, or does anybody know, Dr. Vaughn or the people there in Cyprus kind of know the process of getting this out?
So everyone's different. There's been people that had to come back, but we're trusting God through this whole process. And with me being on anticoagulants for 30 days before coming here, we think that had a big role with how successful this treatment is going to be to push me over the finish line. But they did say that my body now has to rest for They said 3 to 6 months. That's a little discouraging as a 19-year-old wanting to go through life. But
she said, now that we've cleaned this out of your body, now your body has to heal, because for 17 months these microclots in the spike protein from the virus has just done damage all over his body. He's got a lot of issues going on. And so inflammation, which causes all kinds of problems.
Stomach issues. So basically, at my last treatment, before I even started my 6th treatment, because if you look at the bottom of the filter, we had been told that the clear stuff is the microclots. And so I really didn't see that in my 5th filter. So I looked at Silka, which she's been a godsend. Silka is absolutely amazing, and she's been my best friend to this all, and I'm really deeply going to miss her.
We got to make sure she gets a copy of this.
Right.
Yeah, I bet she'll appreciate all the praise.
She's been she's a fighter, and she knows a lot about the deep run machine. She worked there for 15 years, and she's certified instructor on this machine, and actually came from Mulheim, Germany, working with the Jaeger here to set up this clinic, which is owned by Marcus Klotz. He went for treatment and was so impressed that he stayed to learn and then brought it here to Cyprus.
Wow.
Yeah, so as I was saying about the 5th filter, I asked her, I said, do I have any microclots as of now? Like, do you think I still have microclots after 5 treatments? And she looked at me dead in the eyes and she said, Landon, you don't have any more microclots. Your body's now free of microclots. And I was like, well, that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Wow. She said,
and when Landon said there were some people that had to come back, we can tell you, we've met people here from all around the world. You would not believe, those wonderful people. Most of them, and I don't like to hurt people's feelings, but most of them are vaccinated. They're vaccine injured, and they will tell you that. We met one lady that was a nurse from England, and she said, I never had COVID. I'm vaccine injured.
And there's something different between the spike protein and the virus and the vaccine. Apparently,
they just have a hard time getting rid of that.
The spike protein and the vaccine, from what we have heard, replicates, and so it's a lot harder to control that.
Right. So they are saying, give it time. We've gotten your body clear, and you've got to go home and rest. And the number one thing that they have to do is you could please do not overdo it. You have to pace. And that's hard for a teenager.
None. That was an amazing interview, and I can't wait to follow up. But I'm excited about Dr. Vaughn coming on.
Yeah. I'm just so impressed with him. Like,
what a great kid. What
amazing.
A great family.
Like
No, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Y'all are good.
I'm done.
Y'all are finished up.
That's it. We're good. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching this week's version of Alabama Unfiltered. Don't forget to go to all the places that you listen or watch your podcast. Give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever is necessary. And please tell other people about the program. That's why this show is growing by leaps and bounds, because of you telling others about it. Thanks a lot, and see y'all.